With the rapid spread of fast food around the world, a reaction has set in amongst those who appreciate fine cuisine and the pleasure of sitting down to a good meal imaginatively prepared. The Slow Food Society was set up in Italy to promote good food, and today it boasts over 100,000 members in 35 countries. Chef Avner Niv runs the Society's Israeli branch, and for this year's International Congress in Italy, he was asked to attempt a unique meal cooked by Israeli and Palestinian chefs working as a team. The newly founded Peres Peace Center was only too glad to help.
We help the politician to do this peace. The politician do the ceremonies, do the signatures on the agreements, but people to people create the peace, and I think this is the most important thing.
The Peace Center provided the initial contact with the Palestinian chef Odeh Abu El Hawa of the Seven Arches restaurant overlooking the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem. Chef Odeh has been practicing his culinary skills for 27 years and has trained many young Palestinians. Both he and Avner recruited another chef with a similar background, and the Israeli-Palestinian team of four
because we have
born.
the same ideas, but sometimes you have...
Each member was dedicated to the task ahead.
I think it's good success only because we love to cook, and we love the idea that maybe all of us can do something to change the situation for our individual life and for our country's life. And you leave your ego a bit on the side and thinking about how can it influence the neighborhood.
The chefs got together and decided to try a dress rehearsal of the meal they had collectively agreed to create for the Slow Food Congress in Italy. They had pooled their best recipes and found that their national dishes were not really so different and could be combined into a true gastronomic experience, or so they hoped. They planned a menu featuring almond soup, dried figs stuffed with goose liver in red wine sauce, and following a mint sorbet, a main dish of smoked stuffed pigeon with a garlic glaze. The dessert was malabi, a Middle Eastern sweet made of semolina, sugar and rosewater.
We are working like one team. Okay, we share everything. Now we are more than friends. I feel we are like brothers, because we sat together, we ate together, we have good connection.
We find that we can share each other ideas and dreams, just practical cooking. And we don't have to, talk about politics and who's doing that and who is the worst leader. And we just find that the basic line between each other is very similar, And I knew before it all started, that of course there is hope, and of course on the other side, the Palestinians, I'm sure there are people on the other side that speak the same language.
The chefs first tried out their planned menu in a Tel Aviv restaurant with specially invited guests from the Israeli and Palestinian communities. Everyone agreed that sharing a meal of good food and wine certainly helped to break down the barriers.
Because I say when we cook, we put politics aside, so we give politics a vacation, so because we are cooking for the sake of peace.
The task in Orvieto, Italy was even more of a challenge. To prepare a meal for 500 food lovers in the 12th century convent of San Lodovico, which today houses a kindergarten. Despite all the preparation and planning, the Israeli-Palestinian team had their work cut out to please the assembled throng, all of whom were connoisseurs of fine cuisine. As the waitresses brought in the first courses, the chefs wondered if their experimental cooperation would meet with as much enthusiasm as it had back home. Even the drinks were carefully chosen to represent both communities. One vineyard supplied wine from the Golan Heights, another from the coast near the Israeli town of Binyamina. Even the most influential guests were delighted with the meal.
I have proposed to the four cooks to open a restaurant in Jerusalem together. I think it would be a wonderful symbol to have an Israeli-Palestinian restaurant which is making mixed food right in Jerusalem.
As the Middle East peace process looks more and more shaky and the leaders are bogged down in age-old hatreds, perhaps it's up to events like this to show that building bridges is sometimes best left to ordinary people working together for a dream.
Israel, Palestinian, to only to sit like us.
Maybe one day that will encourage the politicians from both sides to sit down and break bread together.